All right, so here we've got Zach Bitter, his crew chief, Richmond Diet. And it's been what, 4 hours? 5 hours? 6 hours?
6 hours,
6
probably.
hours
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, 6.
6. How do you feeling, Zach?
Pretty good. Sore, but I think that's to be expected. Definitely feeling better than I was from mile 85 to 100.
So you're smiling, you're up, you're feeling good for now?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of cool to come out and watch some of the 24-hour folks do work. You know, if I'm going to be lying around restless anyway, I might as well be out here helping them out and cheering and watching and hopefully learning too.
I think there's only 8 left right now.
Yeah, it whittles down a bit.
Rich.
Zach's
Well-
easy. It's easy to crew him.
Yeah.
Just give him what he needs, which isn't much. It's not much at all.
There was a lot of quick handoffs that seemed like.
Yeah, I would say every 9 to 12 minutes, giving him something. It's pretty
Oh, yeah?
steady rotation.
Liquids, solids.
It's mostly liquids.
Mostly liquids, gummy bears.
Yeah. Some M&Ms near the end.
Towards the end, but for the most part, that Fuel 5.
Fuel 5 and
What's the Fuel 5?
Hydro X.
Yeah.
It's like it's a powder that has like a ratio of like 5 different carbohydrate sources. Like some are fast released and some are slow released, so that it's, you know, you're supposed to be able to get the immediate energy as well as the sustained energy based on the 5 different carbohydrate sources.
Okay.
But it was a steady rotation of water, V-Fuel, Vespa, gummy bears.
Vespa. Nice.
Yeah, Vespa. Water. Some Mountain Dew. Not a
Yeah,
lot.
oh, that's right. Yeah, there's some
Mountain Dew.
Oh, and the yerba mate tea.
Yes, the tea. That was the other one. An iced tea. So, nothing else. No
That was
other.
it, yeah.
Like 5 different things, and that's it.
Nice.
It's a nice thing about these track events too. It's like you have it on your table and you ask for it, and 400 years later you have it. So as long as it's actually there, then you're in good shape.
Yeah, yeah. So it was, he ate more this time than 2 years ago when he set the record.
Well, that's a good learning
Yeah.
curve. I mean, learn from the past and apply.
Yeah.
And so
for
I
sure.
guess you were saying right afterward that now you have a big drive for next year to.
Yeah, you know, and this year, like my primary goal was to put myself in position to maybe break the 100-mile world record, and so I definitely did that through 50 miles, and even through 80. Had I been able to hold a 7-minute pace for the remainder, I would have gotten under it, but it just, from a muscular strength standpoint, I don't think I quite had that last 15 miles in my legs this time, so definitely good incentive to come back and try to chip a little more off of it. Yeah.
What would strengthen that muscular?
I think some of it could be a combination of stuff, like maybe the way I structure the races and training leading into the race. So, like, I mean, Desert Solstice being at the end of December is a little tricky unless you, like, really skew your season, because it's that last race of the year for most people, for me. So you don't necessarily know if you're kind of walking that fine line between peaking for it, but in order to peak for it, mentally starting to feel the wear and tear of the rest of the year. Yeah, and just kind of getting everything right from the taper to the last training block. I think, for me anyway, something I'll focus on will be some more strength work on the posterior chain, so like your hamstrings and glutes and stuff like that. And then maybe during my last training block, less total volume and more like fast-paced tempo progression stuff.
Okay.
Because that's what's going to really make those quad muscles that you're continuously pounding on a flat, hard surface like this stronger.
Yeah. And I think that most of us all saw your 160-mile
Yeah.
3-4 weeks in a row. You're high volume.
Yeah, and I definitely had some high volume blocks, which, I mean, I'm a high mileage runner. Like I run 5,000 to 5,600 miles a year for the last 4 years, so it's definitely in my nature.
It's
when
100
I'm
miles a week.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's not. It didn't. I didn't just start doing that. I mean, I spent probably the last decade building up to that. So my body is very much attuned to that type of a training philosophy. But you know, it's you race 6 to 8 of these a year. You're gonna find your limit at some time. And I mean, I feel like I had a good day, but the last 15 miles is where I can really improve on, I think.
How long have you lived in California? Like from the last race to your training you did this year?
Yeah, so I moved there in June, so I've been in California for almost 6 months now, about 5 months.
Okay. So the other race, the other track that you ran, was it May?
So yeah, that's probably kind of confusing because that was out in Kingsburg, California. So yeah, that was actually before I moved out here.
Okay.
But I did it there because of timing of the year and there's a lot of logistics with planning something like that. Like, I mean, I'm sure like Jim Hill can speak to the logistics of planning a race, but like even if you're trying to do something more like I don't want to say spur of the moment, but kind of just like let's get the bare minimum in place so that we can make this a legal attempt. There's still a ton of like boxes to check to make that legal, to get like the drug testing in there, have this track certified, getting it okayed. I mean, even something down to like the fire department wants to know what's going on and like what's the liability for the city or the school district that you're doing it on the track. So, you know, for that event, I definitely feel like I wasn't as fit as I am for track anyway back then. And then, you know, one thing. Well, I was living in Madison, Wisconsin at the time too, so I did a lot of flat paved running, but it was a lot of linear stuff and little to nothing on the track, whereas this time I spent a good deal of training on the track, and I think when you get down underneath that 7-minute pace, you're leaning enough on the turns that you do need to do some track work to get those weird angular muscles adjusted to it, or you're going to end up having like what happened to me in Kingsburg, where I hurt my right quad and had to call it a day at mile 57.
In like 5 hours and
Yeah.
yeah.
I can't remember what the time was when I saw it. It was 5 something, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it was in the 6s.
Do you have Dawn Till Dusk in your calendar for next year on May 12th?
I don't, but so I'm actually signed up for Comrades.
Oh, right.
And that's end of May.
Yep.
So I've got to be a little cautious about how much I do leading in, because when you get a local sponsor in South Africa, they want you to make sure that it's an A race for you. And I do have some cool events planned though for before that as well, like Black Canyon. I think I'm going to come out to that, and that's another Aravaipa event. And I'm signed up for Lake Sonoma as well, so a little different than the track, but I think it's
Lake Sonoma.
yeah. Yes, it'll be a nice mental, if nothing else, a mental break from doing something more flat and monotonous and fast, and something a little more climbing and descending type.
Yeah. We're already getting comments on. I hope Zach's ready to be tested and all that. Or tested. Trying to explain to everybody, one, no world records are broken, but at the same time with the discussion, everybody's like so polarized right now with it.
Right,
Yeah.
it's perfect timing for that, I suppose.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, I've been tested a couple times at World 100Ks and at this event in 2013, but I mean, it's one of those things where like I feel like if you're setting an American record, you should probably be tested.
Yep.
But until that becomes the norm, I suppose it'll be a challenge for a lot of places to put that in place. And it's like anything, the logistics of that takes time. So right now the outcry is pretty strong, but it's been really strong for a couple of weeks, so you can't necessarily expect places to turn that around. But I think it's probably on the horizon, and I mean that's good.
Are you thinking about a 6-day?
Oh god.
No, why you gotta throw him under the bus on that? No.
So that's like 12 times as long as what I did today.
Yeah.
I don't know. My general like thought process with the longer stuff is like for like 24-hour and beyond is
When he gets slower, he said he'll do it. So like in 10 years.
well even for like for today, like it'll probably take me just the ramping up, the racing and the recovering from like this event or like a 24-hour event. I could probably do 2 or 3 like 50K to 100K races in that time frame. So my thought kind of is now, like I'm 29, so I've probably got maybe a decade or so where I could continue to improve or improve to my peak and plateau for a few years before I start kind of like regressing in some of that shorter stuff. Whereas, and when you think of like Giannis Kouros, when he set the 24-hour world record, he was 40 years old. So some of that stuff I'm kind of being a little patient with because I know like, especially like a 6-day, like you don't have to be young. In fact, it may be it may be better to be a little older, have more experience and more patience and
Get those base miles.
just
over a decade.
Exactly, yeah.
Like when you first started running, I don't quite remember right now, but for telling people who just can't comprehend 100 miles right now at 11 in under 12 hours, like how long ago were you just basically quote a normal runner, or
Sure.
how did you turn into?
Yeah, so I started running in middle school. Just I like to do a ton of sports.
Yeah.
So I did track and I did, I was like any middle school boy. You did the 100-meter dash first, and I got my butt kicked thoroughly in the 100-meter dash. So like we did a presidential physical fitness mile, and
I remember that.
I won. So I'm like, I could get like second to last in the 100-meter dash, or I could win. And for a middle school boy, that's like, of course you're gonna do what you're gonna win, right? And that's kind of what got this spark, I guess. But really, it was high school and college where I actually like dove into the actual act of running consistently and learning like the history of running and like people in that sport and what they were doing and why they were doing it, and some of the like more like in-depth techniques with training and peaking and racing and stuff like that. And I mean, through college, I was very much mediocre for a very good Division III school. So I mean, we had some talented runners on the team, and I was very much middle of the pack. But I did notice that I got better as the distance got longer. So when college ended, I just kind of started experimenting with longer events, and eventually found my way to 100 milers on the track.
And dominate, yeah. That's awesome. So anyone out there, just keep training and train smart.
Yeah. And if you're not good, just move up in distance.
Yeah, exactly.
Go longer.
There's
Go
Ed.
slower.
No. All right. Okay. Anything else you want to throw out there, or that you enjoyed about the race, or?
I mean, the race is awesome. It's such a well-organized event. Like, I think there's the obvious monotony of running around a track, and I think that's what deters a lot of people from wanting to do it. And the injury risk potential with a hard surface with a turn like that. But from a logistical standpoint, I mean, you train for it, but then you come in and, as like we were saying before, like, you have anything that you think that you probably would need, and then some, and you have it on your table, and like, when you want something, you say it, and 4 meters later you have it. And then if you don't have something you want, there's usually someone who's willing to run and get it for you, so you have it in a shorter amount of time than you would like in a trail race where you're going from aid station to aid station. So the logistics of it is pretty nice. Like, there's not a whole lot of pre-planning other than just knowing what works for you and having it there, and having great folks like Rich here to hang out all day and cater to your every needs.
Yeah.